What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the Mighty Japanese Battleship, the Tier 10 Yamato. Now, this match is post-commentary because, as you can see, when I'm just flicking up the team boards, this was a bit of crappy matchmaking. We had more ships, but the enemy team had a Tier 10 aircraft carrier. We had a Tier 7 or 8, whatever the Shikaku is. So yeah, so much for matchmaking being symmetrical for carriers. I guess that Tier 10 carrier who is in a division with a Yamato and a Montana, they had just been waiting for a long time. And obviously the longer the wait, the more conditions the matchmaker drops in order to get them into a game. And we took some shots over the mountain at the Tirpitz, but unfortunately he started moving and they're all going to land behind him. But to make matters even worse is that the player controlling the midway is Pape, and he is quite a well-known carrier player on the European forums. He is exceptionally good. He's one of the better carrier pilots, carrier captains, carrier drivers out there, whatever you want to call them. We took some shots at the Amagi, and unfortunately some of them sort of hit the mountain, a little bit delayed there. So basically I saw this match and I was just like, oh, this is going to be crap. I decided to record it anyway, but I didn't do any commentary, and it actually turned out to be pretty good. This was one of the first matches really where I started to see the awesome damage potential of these 18.1 inch guns. There were a lot of salvos with really big damage numbers regardless of whether I got a citadel or not, and one of those salvos is coming up right now. We've got this Amagi at 18 kilometers, going to give him just over 11 seconds lead, and we're going to fire everything. And you can see in this in the chat, Jarl, who's in the North Carolina, he spawned all by himself, and we get 5 hits for nearly 22,000 damage without a citadel. He is the only one who spawned in the southeastern side of the map. All of us spawned on the other side, so he was all on his own, and he's coming up against the enemy Yamato driven by Ocelot. I wonder if that is a Metal Gear reference or whether it is an Archer reference with the Ocelot of Cheryl. But yeah, Jarul or Jarl, and there we get 2 citadels and a single hit for 32,000 damage to finish him off and get first blood. And you can see he's not terribly happy about it, but you can hardly blame him. But yeah, that poor North Carolina, he's all on his own, no one there to help him. I think, yeah, as I said, he is coming under aircraft attack from Pape as well as Yamato attack, which is never good for a North Carolina. But now we're going to switch our target to Oliver Sutton in the Amagi. He's a bit further away, but still we got a pretty nice grouping. The lead's looking good, but I think maybe a little bit too much elevation. Nope, 5 hits for 25,000 damage. Oh god, let me tell you, this ship is a Tier 10 battleship. The Montana is not. The Montana is rubbish, but this is a proper Tier 10 battleship. And he's now turned slightly in towards us, so we're going to fire a bit below him. Didn't give him as much lead because I think he had slowed down. And I think, but we still maybe gave a little bit too much lead, or too much elevation. 2 hits for 1,400 damage. And yeah, the North Carolina has now been destroyed. And I mean, the enemy team has lost 1 Amagi, so things are pretty equal at the moment, but they have captured A and C while we have only captured B, so they do have a 150 point advantage. So we're going to fire again at the Amagi and hope that these shells do better. And he says he's going to send in a ticket to Wargaming. I can hardly blame him. And 5 hits for about 13,000 odd damage, so not bad at all. But one thing I must say is I think Pape in the midway was being rather decent about the whole situation. He wasn't kind of abusing the fact that he was a tier 10 carrier versus a tier 8 or whatever it is. And you'll see a little bit later, he attacks me and he drops his torpedoes quite far away from me, and he's done it a few times, or he does do it a few times, which you might notice if you're on the lookout for them. So I think he was being quite a nice guy about the whole situation, because he could have probably wrecked us all a lot easier than he did. But we're going to switch targets to the Tirpitz, and there you can see he comes in and drops some torpedoes at the sort of front of the Iowa and misses most of them. Again, I mean, there was no reason for him to not come in again and retry that attack, because even though the Iowa's anti-aircraft guns are good, I think against a tier 10 carrier it won't be a problem. And we get a pretty good Citadel hit on this Montana, even though he's like maneuvering and turning and all sorts of things. Again, just demonstrating the power and the penetration of these guns. And we're just waiting to reload, and we're going to fire off the front 2 guns again, but unfortunately I think he has now begun a turn to port, and they're all going to miss. But we're going to fire off our rear turret at the Tirpitz, and there we got Ocelot, who we must be careful of. We don't want to show our broadside to him if he is focusing on us. But we're all still chasing after this Montana, trying to put some hurt onto him. And there's the midway of Pape, and my gun's already just in time, and I try to kind of just take a shot. But I don't think I gave him quite enough lead, because again I was worried that if I did give him any more lead it would target the island instead of him. And in the end those are just going to splash harmlessly into the water, and unfortunately this was a little bit of an oopsie on my part. I was turning to get my rear turret to bear on the Tirpitz and didn't check and see this friendly Tirpitz who was coming up behind me. But no harm, no foul, and Ocelot is now our primary target for the time being at least, and he's coming in at us at a slight angle, and the Tirpitz even says sorry to me, but I think it was more my fault, but I'm busy, so I don't respond immediately, and then I think I forget about it. And now the Yamato is capturing B. Now shells are going to land. We get 2 hits for 3,000 damage, which is kind of not really what we wanted, but it is better than nothing. And we've got our broadside showing to him, so we're trying to turn over to port side and get at least an angle on our armor to try and limit some of the damage that he can do. And we're going to fire at the Tirpitz again. We're just waiting for all our guns to turn around, and we can fire off a full salvo. And I think here comes in the torpedo squadron, and we take light damage, and we do some 4 hits for at least 12,000, but we did get some more. And we got these torpedo planes coming in, and they're dropping, as I say, really early. I mean, I know he was under attack by the fighters of our carrier, but I mean, I don't think they would have really been too much of a threat to tier 10 torpedo planes for him to hold off a few more seconds and do a proper drop. But anyway, that's where he dropped them, and as I said, I really do think he was being decent about it, because he does it again when there's no enemy fighters around. And we get 5 hits for 20,000 damage onto the Montana, and we get ourselves high caliber. So now I've thrown it into reverse to try and slow down as quickly as possible, so that the torpedoes will go past me and I can turn a bit to continue pressing this Montana. And there's the Tirpitz again, but we don't really have a good shot on him. So I think we're going to turn and try and engage Ocelot right now. But he is quite angled, but even an angled Yamato can still be damaged by a Yamato's gun. So we're going to take the lead, just trying to predict if he's going to continue his turn or straighten out or what he's going to do. And those shells are not looking very good. We get 1 hit, which is unfortunate. And we're going to turn away again and just keep our armor angled and bring our guns to bear once again on the Montana. And soon you are going to see what I mean by the power of these guns versus the Montana's pathetic armor. And I think this Tirpitz is taking shots at us. He has decided that we are a worthy target, and he's going to do some fairly good damage. 4,800. No, not bad at all for him. And here comes the Montana. He is on 38,000 health. Just bringing our front guns around. Turrets do, as I said, turn really slowly, which is sometimes a bit of a pain. We're kind of exposing a bit of our broadside, or gone a little bit flat to him in order to get all 3 turrets to bear. And we're going to fire those off. And I think these ones are going to do fairly well, hopefully. Yes, they're looking good. Looking good. And 6 hits for 6,002 incapacitation. So not all that great, but we did, I think, knock out a turret. I think even one of those front turrets got knocked out permanently. And Ocelot, I wish I'd seen this earlier because it would have been a better target. He's like broadside onto us. So slowing down, no, just turning us to try and get guns on target. And as we do, he begins turning into us. And here come the torpedo bombers again. And I think he has decided to go after the North Carolina. And again, you're going to see how far away he drops them. And this time there are no enemy fighters or anything harassing the torpedo planes. And we take 1,400 damage. And he's dropping them from like almost maximum range there, I would imagine. So I really do think he was just being decent and trying not to troll our team too much. But I mean, they pretty much got a win secured. And there we get 6 hits for 13,000. And you can see, I mean, he's got his front pointed towards us. He's fairly well angled. But it didn't matter. And you can see one of his forwardmost turret was knocked out. But unfortunately, the match ends before we're able to eliminate him. But we still did pretty good damage. And we did get 1 kill. Which is not bad at all for a match that I thought was all but, you know, a fail match from the very beginning. But anyways, we got 48 target hits, shot down 2 enemy planes, got 3 incapacitations, 1 kill, 3 citadels, defended a base twice, and assisted in base capture once for 310,000 silver, 1,900 research. I didn't see those rewards. We came first place on our team with 1,290 points. Ocelot came first on the enemy team. We did 177,500 damage and made 165,000 profit. So not bad at all. Any match in a tier 10 where you actually make a profit is fine by me. But anyways, I think that is it for this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing for more World of Warships content, as well as War Thunder and Armored Warfare. Also, be sure to check the description down below for links to my Facebook and my Twitter pages, as well as the email address that you guys can use to send in any replays you have of really awesome battles. But as I said, that is it from me. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.